In this era of deep complexity,
the U.S. military is used as some sort of globalist military cudgel to enforce international feminist standards worldwide.
beyond the edges of black or white.
The good thing, folks, is that foreign policy prescription has never backfired or provided any blowback whatsoever.
It's time to be notionally accurate.
By the way, if you ever have any pushback from a country you are striking, that means you automatically lose. I don't know if you've been made aware of those new laws of war. I believe it was just recently signed in the Geneva Conventions. It's the neener, you're a loser doctrine.
Here's your host, Captain Kirk, and some guy named Jason.
That's where he's getting his money from. You can't just sit around and eat dirt all day. That doesn't work.
Welcome one and all to the 29th episode of the Notionally Accurate podcast, produced live right here at the One Man's Burden Studios in my undisclosed compound, located in the same padded cell Tucker Carlson fought those demons. My name's Captain Kirk, and I'll be your affable host. Welcome to episode 29 of Notionally Accurate. I'm your host, Captain Kirk. I'm with some guy named Jason.
Hey, yo.
So, Jason, there's an interesting primary occurring in California in June. And something quite fascinating occurred. And I think you are the perfect man to speak with me on this issue of Eric Swalwell complaining to Tom Steyer. They are both Democrats in this primary for governor because Gavin Newsom is term limited. They are fighting each other like little girls, and Swalwell is accusing Tom Steyer of having doxed him. Tom Steyer says, no. I'm just ensuring that you are meeting residency requirements. So this is getting very juicy very fast.
As we all know, California is deeply blue. It is nothing but Democratic. And something we have, I think we're all old enough to remember that the Democrats, they kind of like, to fix the race a little bit. They kind of like to, Trump almost didn't make it out of there alive to the presidency. And
right.
That's against the Republican, right? So what I think is really interesting with the California race, deeply blue, is the Democrat versus Democrat. So they're going to pull these weird things on each other. They're going to pull weird things on each other, and then they're going to retort with weird things at each other, and it's going to be very, very weird. I love I think it's great. Swalwell is the guy that stoinked the Chinese spy, right?
Yes, Fang.
Was he accused or he did? And he did, though. He did do it.
He was definitely in a relationship with her. Whether they consummated the relationship, whether he could perform, I don't know. I don't want to know. He denies it. I think it happened.
And then Steyer is a billionaire.
Correct. He is the one that 7 years ago you would see him all over TV with advertisements he paid for, demanding Democrats impeach President Trump.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution, he's taken money from foreign governments and threatened to shut down news organizations that report the truth.
And then he ran for president for about 5 minutes until even the Democrats got sick of him and they dropped out. Same with Swalwell.
Well, Steyer must be incredibly wealthy if he can be a billionaire in California and be anti-business or whatever.
He's the controlled corporatism guy. He's the Bill Clinton-esque, let's have a partnership between the public and private sector so that we can pump the private sector up with public funds. That's not a very surprising stance, and as long as he gets to play kingmaker, he doesn't really care.
So these two, the way we were looking at this before the show, the way the California their primary works is they kind of throw everybody into a big pot, and the top two are the ones that end up running for the governorship.
That is correct. That's the top two winners of the votes in the primary. They'll appear on the ballots in November.
So it's a really interesting way to lock in pretty much one party all the time, except for this year could be different.
Yes, there is recent polling that is showing there's a kind of a fragmented Democratic field. You know, you have Steyer and Swalwell. You have Katie Porter, a former congressman from Orange County. You have Antonio Villaraigosa, former mayor of LA. And then a couple of no-name backbenchers as well. But the issue is that Republican voters could consolidate behind Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco. Steve Hilton's a former UK Prime Minister advisor, does stuff with Fox News. Chad Bianco is a Riverside County sheriff in California. They're both running as Republicans. There's a statistical possibility that both of them could take the top two spots in June, and that would lock out the Democrats from the general election. They would have to do probably like a write-in campaign like Gavin did during his recall.
So it would be because the Democrats are so fragmented that they can't, everyone's going to be voting for their own person. They would not, so they don't have like a strong two candidates. So if the Republicans could sneak in just by consolidation, and the fact that there's just two of them, whereas the Democrats, they are they're not poor for choice, and that actually might hurt them. And see, it's important for me living in the West because California dictates. I mean, it dictates so much of this country. With its economics, with its culture, it just affects everything. And if it can turn around, because my thought too is, who in this race, Republican or Democrat, can run on their record? Like, what Californian politician can be proud of their record? I don't understand how with a fate you can sit up there and be like, vote for me, look what I did. Just step over the poop.
You just have to hope that Xi Jinping is coming by at any given time, and then suddenly all the homeless encampments and poop stains everywhere get cleaned up pretty quickly.
Well, are Californian voters this stupid? Is this what we're left with? Is that they will just literally vote for anyone who's good looking?
I mean, California is kind of fake and gay, so it kind of makes sense that they would vote for the fake and gay candidates to run their state. And then we have California voters, electing people like Eric Swalwell. But then when there's recall efforts against Gavin Newsom, they vote for Gavin Newsom instead of Larry Elder or anybody.
Exactly.
Anybody.
Except for change.
Yeah. Yep. Status quo.
That's why, so we will see with the Tom Steyers, the Swalwells, and all these Democrats nibbling at each other and eating at each other. The Republicans might sneak in, which might save the state.
Let's not put too much pressure on a incoming Republican governor in a state that has supermajorities in their state assembly.
Yeah. I suppose. It's what a hole. Anyway. And the other interesting primary is the one in Texas.
This is a Republican primary between John Cornyn, who is the incumbent Republican senator in Texas. He is part of the leadership in the Senate. He's going up against Ken Paxton, the current Attorney General for Texas. Cornyn is considered kind of the dodgy, Bushy era GOPer, kind of like a McConnell type. My criticism of him, the first thing I think of when I think of John Cornyn is after Uvalde, Biden tried to pass this gun control bill and Cornyn provided sanction of it and essentially helped shepherd it through the Senate with Republican votes. Nobody remembers that bill because it didn't really do anything, but it was just nice covering and a nice little distraction so that the Democrats could pretend that that they care about the kids and that they wanted to, show that they're taking action after such a tragedy. And then, the Republicans, all of them squishes, voted for the same thing. Nobody knows what that bill did. With Ken Paxton, he is kind of a warrior for the America First, MAGA policies, but he has some weird baggage in his private life. He was impeached by fellow Republicans in that state, and there's a lot of politicking and drama involved with that. He was eventually acquitted in the Texas Senate and is currently serving out his tenure. There's a lot of consternation. Oh, who is Trump going to endorse? He hasn't endorsed anyone as of this recording. Whoever wins is going to be going up against this John Talarico guy who beat Jasmine Crockett, our favorite Texas House member. And she had a meltdown blaming those damn Latinos. They're not smart enough to know that she's a black queen who would take care of them and shelter them from the evil Trump administration in the Senate.
Shortly after Jasmine Crockett lost the Democrat primary, washed-up ex-ESPN host Jemele Hill blamed Latinos for her loss.
The Cubans, as we know, that are in Miami, the I will vote for Donald Trumps, they are very soft targets for misinformation. A lot of Latino and Hispanic communities are, to be frank. And especially if you're from Cuba. Cubans hear socialism, communism, and as long as the Republicans use those words to describe democratic policies, they will vote Republican every time, even if they're voting for themselves to be put out of America. They will do it every time. And so that's something that it requires a level of sophistication to understand.
But this Talarico guy is, to call him a cheap suit is an insult to cheap suits. This guy is Beto O'Rourke mixed with Pete Buttigieg. And if you know who those two people are, those are the most milquetoast Democrats possible. But they're also the most extreme. This guy believes there's multiple genders, that God is non-binary. He uses his alleged Christianity as a cudgel to bash other Christians and prop himself up as some grand espouser of equality and fairness. He's a phony. He talks phony. His entire demeanor is fake, is a farce.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
There are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
And so, of course, Democrats voted for him in Texas to be their standard bearer for the Senate race. To be fair, this is the same Democrat Party that picked O'Rourke against Ted Cruz in 2018, and then Colin Allred in 2024. Both cheap suits, have no substance to them. And, 3 for 3, I guess, eventually, I guess it might work, who knows, but they're still trying to go for that turn Texas blue thing. I'm not really certain that's going to happen regardless of who wins this primary.
So you're saying that Talarico looks like he's going to go the way of the O'Rourke?
Oh, one could only hope. One could only hope. That is a downfall very befitting of the man. Because where's O'Rourke now? Nowhere. Colin Allred, he's running again for a House seat, going up against this LGBTQ woman named Julie Johnson. He's stuck in a primary runoff too. That'll be taken care of in May. These people don't really have much oomph to them.
Well, how did he get his money?
Who is he?
O'Rourke, sorry. How did Beto O'Rourke get his money?
Does he have money?
I mean, he's got to have something, right? Why are people voting for him? Why are we talking about him? I mean, like, it's got to be
because he
something.
eats dirt and he has nice hair. Come on, Jason.
No, he eats dirt. My cousin ate dirt. I don't care about that. What I love is
but your cousin wasn't a grown man.
Well, I mean, he also might not be a multimillionaire. These independently wealthy Democrats who.
I'm very skeptical about net worth reports. Be very skeptical where you read reports about, oh, so-and-so's net worth was this before they entered Congress, and now it's this. Most of those are based on total bullshit.
But my point is that he is a businessman. He got his money from real estate.
He co-founded the Stanton Street Technology Group, an informational technology and web development firm in El Paso in 1999.
Only substantial assets of his wife.
Right.
He married into money.
Real estate holdings. Yep, his wife, Amy. Daughter, William Bill Sanders. No relation to Bernie. A prominent real estate mogul, often referred to as the Warren Buffett of real estate.
Yeah, that's how he got it, dude. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's where he's getting his money from. You can't just sit around and eat dirt all day. That doesn't work.
Let me introduce you to a man named Beto Francis O'Rourke.
Yeah, 210. Well, okay. Worth about 10 million. No, he's getting propped up.
More than us.
That's just yeah, more than us. That's absolutely sure. But my point is, and it goes back to the Tom Steyer guy, like these incredibly wealthy people who then go back and then try to reform the system that they made all their money and got incredibly successful from. It's infuriating.
Another example of that is Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks. Did you hear the recent news as of this recording about his move to Florida? I believe it was the day that the Democrats filed this wild income tax on millionaires in the state of Washington.
Well, I guess because of his income, he would have had to pay $150 million.
Oh.
So there is no way that didn't pass with him in mind.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So with him leaving, how much does that gut the bill?
I'd imagine it puts a dent in it.
Yeah. And he's going, but the thing is, he is doing this for his family because his family is also on the East Coast. So at least they'll be on the same coast. You know what I mean? Because it's family.
It's a heartwarming
be close. Yeah, you want to be close. We're, we'll be in Miami. They'll be up in Connecticut. We'll be all right. We're close. Go pop by for Thanksgiving. No, yeah, he was going to give $150 million in taxes. So they had to have. When they voted that in, they had to have thought of that. And this is what's going to be very interesting in the future here with these far left states. How are they going to maintain their economy? Because they can't be all things to all people. The government can't.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, very. Not only am I sure, I don't want that. So I guess my point is, if I were to pick my favorites right now, I guess I would be rooting for Ken Paxton, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. And I'm rooting for that sheriff in California. Chad
Bianco.
Bianco, bro, that's what I'm rooting for. Those are the two guys that will change American politics as we know it.
And on that note, we go overseas.
Overseas.
4 in a row. Day, whatever this happens to be.
Yeah, I think it's like a week, day 6, something like that.
I think we're on like day 13.
Gas prices have shot up. They're going to continue to shoot it up. The Strait of Hormuz is under fire. I'm still not understanding. I'm still not understanding how Iran was able to light these ships. They lit 3 ships on fire. I guess Thailand's was one of them, because Thailand came out and said, "Hey, Iran, you can't do that." And Iran said, "Listen, we were busy praying. We didn't know what we were doing. Sorry." So, yeah. So I think they must be shooting from the land. Either way, this is I think their last little gasp of control, right? Like, how much do they have in them?
Well, if you listen to the panicking right and the anti-American, pro-Islam, anti-Israel, anti-West leftists, they can hold out for eternity. And by the way, if you ever have any pushback from a country you are striking, that means you automatically lose. I don't know if you've been made aware of those new laws of war. I believe it was just recently signed in the Geneva Conventions. It's the neener, you're a loser doctrine, something like that.
Well, no, it's the, they're fighting back, let them win. What?
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. Besides that, like, this modern war here, yes, that was that horrible bombing of the girls' school. It was horrible. But
terrible.
Yeah, and horrible information, horrible what happened. Odd that they would put a headquarters right next to a girls' school, but whatever.
Total coincidence.
Yeah, real coincidence. But outside of that, they are precisely hitting certain people. They're following people, and from thousands of miles away, drone striking specific people. War has never been like this before, ever, in the history of the planet. And for us to be doing what we're doing with 6 casualties?
Unfortunately, it's increased to at least 7 recently.
7. Still, that's still. I mean, and what they. Not to downplay the sacrifice that they gave, but that's just amazing. It's amazing what is capable now.
Maybe just 20 years ago, there would probably have been in the hundreds to low thousands of casualties for an operation like this. So one way that the Iranian Navy, whatever's left of it, is able to harass tankers going through the Strait of Hormuz is using these bog hammer boats. They're fast patrol boats. They've been used since the revolution, probably built when the Shah was still around. And so they were able to kind of be a nuisance. That's what they are right now. They are a nuisance. They are not a global threat anymore. I think this strike has done a good job at ensuring that what we're seeing now are continued temper tantrums from a dying regime. They elected a new Ayatollah. I guess his dick doesn't work and he's in a coma, so that's cool. Is he even alive? Who knows? They prayed to and provided allegiance oaths to a picture of this Mojiba Kamani. They're so terrified to have him out in public because the last guy got blown up, so they know not to fuck with Trump anymore, one would imagine. I think gas prices will stabilize within the next couple of days. I don't think the Trump administration would go to war without considering the implications of to the global oil market that a strike would have. And Dan Kane, the general in charge of the strikes, he's talking about how we're taking their drone technology, reverse engineering them, and then using them to strike at whatever missiles or drones Iran's putting out there. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's
crazy.
That's pretty awesome. I love that.
That's entirely awesome. Well, I heard a statistic that, and I don't know how true this is, and I know that stats and polls and whatnot we've talked about on the show that don't believe them, but 90% of Republicans are for the war. And you're not going to hear that. That's I don't know how true that is, but 90% of Republicans are for the war. What is interesting, because I think people are more for it than the corporate media would lead us to believe. The whole, like, he's doing this because of the Epstein files. Like, give me a break. Like, are you kidding me? This is, oh my God. Like, that's whatever. And I get it. Okay. Whatever. It makes no sense. And he's doing this because Israel, whatever. Okay, that's fine. I get it. You know, people are, whatever. I don't agree with any of that. It makes no sense to me. Something that points me in the direction that we are doing the right thing is the story of the women's Iranian soccer team. And for those of you who don't know, they were playing, so we attacked on the 28th. They were playing a friendly in Australia on the 2nd, and I guess the first week of March. And they had a game where no one on the team sang the national anthem. And it upset everybody back home. They were threatened. They were then the next game they came out and they all saluted and sang and looked really enthusiastic. And then on the way to the airport, the way to the airport, they were signaling SOS signals to to people standing by. Some went home. Some stayed and is seeking asylum in Iran. They never would have done that, or had they never would have done something like that if we would not have attacked. I wanted to know if we attacked before or after they did it, because I don't think they would have done a protest like that if they did not hear the news that we attacked.
Ongoing.
Yeah. And so that, I don't know. That to me says something that's beyond our pop culture, beyond our news cycle, beyond what we're being told one way or the other. It's like they were out, then they were afraid for their lives. They didn't know what to do. Like you were saying, it's a movie. This is going to be a movie, because I guess 5 of them now are still in Australia.
So 6 players and 1 staff member.
Oh, okay. 6 players, 1 staff member. So Lord bless them and protect them, protect the players that went back. But it shows that Iran is horrible. If we can figure this out, if we can get stability in Iran, and even if we can just isolate all the conflict in Iran, because I'm going to be honest with you, with Islam, they got to fight somebody. Islam is not a peaceful religion. You might hear that it might be, and whatever. Islam is not peaceful at all. And so even if there's fighting within the region and it's isolated and it's not necessarily, all over and puppet factions and all these different things, if we can get rid of a lot of it, I think the Middle East could be I don't know. In theory,
what do you mean to get rid of Islam?
No, don't get rid of it. Just, I don't know. I guess hang out with the moderate guys, the people who don't have to kill everybody. How about that? The people who don't have to drape their females in carpets. We can hang out with those guys. We but
so we should ensure that the U.S. military is used as some sort of globalist military cudgel to enforce international feminist standards worldwide. Because that's not what I mean for.
No, and I know, and I'm not saying that the United States Army should be used like that, but things like that are a fruit of a poison tree. And that tree needed to be cut down. That tree not only tries to control its women like that, or part of its populace like that, it's trying to control the world like that.
Was Iran like this in 1953?
Not before the Shahs, right? Didn't they have like, you see like pictures of them, and they have the big bouffant hairdo, and there's like gas stations, and people are happy. And
so in 1953, they had elected Mossadegh in a democratic election, and the Eisenhower administration, along with the UK government, didn't like the fact that he was nationalizing their oil fields. It was primary affront to Britain, and we just spent 5-6 years saving their bacon, and so we go along with this effort to commit a coup against Mossadegh, and it was called Operation Ajax. And we sent out pamphlets and propagandists into the streets and called Mossadegh a tyrant, that he was oppressing his people and we need to rise up against him. The Shah was already in place, but it was more of a constitutionalist monarchy than any sort of absolute monarchy. Well, when we installed the Shah as their absolute ruler, that provided a 26-year buffer zone where there was westernization and some free market reforms here and there, but his rule, it was so iron-fisted and heavy-handed at the end that he set up the Shah, as well as the fact that we were supporting him, the Western allies, that it created so much resentment that when the 79 revolution that took place and our embassy workers were taken hostage, there was just so much enmity between the revolutionaries and the Iranians there that we lost a lot of credibility in how we run our foreign policy. And so I'm just thinking that, okay, without removing Mossadegh, we wouldn't get the Shah. Without the Shah and how he operated, we wouldn't have gotten the revolution. Without the revolution, we wouldn't have had the past 40 some years of hell and back and forth in the Middle East. Why do we always have to get involved in the Middle East? Why do we believe that we are the ones that will finally be providing democracy and women's rights and racial equality to a place that has never really truly known it, other than small pockets here and there? There's the pictures of Afghanistan before Russia invaded. Sure, but why is that our responsibility to impose those standards?
No, baby. This time it's different. It's different this time, baby. No. It's different. I don't know. I mean, the thing about now is the whole nuclear thing. I don't think that was fake. I don't think Iran was going to stop. I think Iran was going to get a nuclear bomb, and I do think they were a serious threat to the world. The Saddam Hussein thing after 9/11, okay, I understand. This, I think, is a real thing. This had to happen, and it happened at a good time. Happened at a good time.
I just want to point out how quickly the pivot was from we need to make the world safe for democracy, Wilsonian foreign policy, to all of a sudden post 9/11 Bush doctrine preemptive strikes. I'm a little lost on how those two things bridge each other, because that you can't argue against what I had just said. So you need to then pivot to, oh my God, Iran's going to get the bomb. Of course, there's that famous montage of Bibi Netanyahu in various venues throughout the years warning that Iran is right around the corner from getting a bomb, right around the corner from getting a bomb, 2 weeks away, 1 week away, a month away, right around the corner, tomorrow, they had it yesterday.
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
How are we supposed to take something like that seriously? It's the boy who cried wolf scenario. And especially when we have still the trauma of being lied to about weapons of mass destruction, or at least misled, whatever verbiage you want to use to mitigate the misinformation. How do you square that round peg, Jason?
The thought is, the Middle East, we shouldn't be involved. And I understand we do meddle, and we are guilty of regime change and betraying allies and leaving people hung out to dry and manipulating elections and horrible things.
This time it's different.
There has to be a connection between, yes, we have done these horrible things, and also too, there are times that we have to do something. If left to itself, and you're right, we've been doing this for decades, and that's also too why a lot of people don't like Israel, is because Israel is the ultimate meddling in the Middle East by us letting them, not us, but the Western world, giving them land post World War II. It is, I think it's geography. Because of what they have, it's some of, if not the richest land in the world, just economically from the oil standpoint. The people who live on it are fanatic.
You're talking about Iran, right?
I'm talking about, Iran, sure. The other Islamic nations have calmed down, but for a long time, they have.
What is your standard for foreign policy? Because I don't know what your limiting principle is. Like, at what point is enough? What does victory look like? You don't want boots on the ground, but you're not going to be able to bomb democracy into place. Right. I don't think that's going to work.
Honestly, with me, I would be happy with no boots on the ground, and we decimate the regime to where hopefully the people can rise up, and whatever comes up out of them would be capable of running the country. That would be my optimal, best wish, is that we wouldn't have to put any boots on the ground. And if it has to be the Kurds in the north, I know that Trump said something about maybe giving, dicing up the country and giving it to the tribal, and people are like, that's ridiculous. But that actually might work, though. Why wouldn't that work? Kurdistan. Why not have Kurdistan up in the north? The European powers drew up the Iraqi borders. We didn't. They did nothing. Yeah. So why not? Turn it back over to the people, man. If that's the case, get rid of this extreme regime, and then let them You know, and they're going to fight.
Would you support a home for Palestine?
Oh yeah. What do you mean? Like, I think the Palestinians.
We're carving up countries and chopping off ethnic groups in order to ensure that they have their own ethno enclaves.
Okay.
Would that include Palestinians?
I mean, for me, I think with
you
the
talked
lack,
about getting rid of all of them, so I just want to make sure that we're clear on what you're proposing.
With us getting rid of the Iranian regime, Hezbollah is now giving its last gasps. There is no Hamas. I guarantee you the Palestinian situation is going to be a lot. It's not going to be 100% better, but the situation is going to be a lot better because there's not going to be that heavy hand on the scale with Iran pushing down the Palestinians. You see what Iran did. Their defense was punching everybody around them. If the Palestinian people can finally be out of the under the thumb from Iran, I think they're going to have a much fairer shake, and it's going to be a much more copacetic with Israel without Iran poking the bear and egging on the fight. I think the relationship with Saudi Arabia and Israel is going to be a lot better.
But if Iran is pacified and the Palestinians are settled and Israel has made peace with its neighbors, why? I mean, doesn't that kind of take away the fun of dragging us into their wars?
Well, yeah, sure. But if that did happen, which I don't think it's going to happen, but not like that, it'd be awesome if it did. That's what Matthew McConaughey line. That'd be awesome if he did. But I mean, I think the removal of the Iranian regime is a step towards that. Is a really strong step towards it, because right now they even got Qatar talking bad about him. You got Qatar talking bad about you. Qatar is the slimiest, greasiest, grossest country in the world, and Qatar is telling Iran to stop.
I hear they gift great planes. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, sure.
People tell me,
sure.
Great planes.
Gross. You can date your favorite Chinese spy there, whatever. But yeah, so
California.
I think without, because Iran, the regime purposefully was against Western society. It was against civilization. And they did everything they could to bring it down to what they viewed the Quran said. And they come hell or high water, this is what they're going to do. And what's crazy is to think that the leftists here in the United States, and I can guess, I think I can see the connection a little bit, why they would support the Ayatollahs, you know what I mean?
The so-called Red-Green Alliance.
And the reason why is because it's the old saying, socialists are just fascists on vacation.
I don't know what that
means. You ever heard
that?
Fascism, right? It's the good of the state, right? So socialists and socialists are just fascists on vacation. They're just kind of relaxed. And obviously,
that makes socialists sound kind of cool and unthreatening.
No, I think it makes them sound horrible. No, they're fascists on vacation. You kidding me? That's horrible. Well, my point is the Shia, they're fascists in the mosque. That's all. You know, they're still fascists. it still quacks like a duck. It's just got a turban on.
Okay.
So that's the connection. Fascism. Because I know everyone throws around what a fascist is and how Trump's a fascist and all kind of stuff.
That word,
but if you actually know,
that word really doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, but if you actually know what fascism is, it's when it's, yeah.
And if anybody does, folks, it's some guy named Jason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not totally, but it's aggressive.
Resident fascism expert.
It's aggressive socialism is what it is. People come in and take things from you and tell you what you do.
Communists did that. Would you say communists are fascists?
No.
What? Now I'm doubly confused.
I mean, I guess communists would be fascists. Yes, they would be fascists.
Come in and take your stuff and tell you what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what communists do. Yeah, they do that all the time, those guys. Yeah. So fascists, so I was thinking about it the other day is how can these two sides meet? And it's because they both lean towards fascism. What do you think? That's a good theory though, huh?
I would say that they both just hate capitalism and the West in general, and they're bitter about the dissolution of the USSR in 1991, and they haven't let it go. So they'll cling to any group that will fight them.
If there was just one word we could use to describe that, it would be fascism.
Tyranny. This isn't a TikTok video.
I don't know. Well, I tell you what, though, bro. No, we don't do brain rot. It's just it is amazing to me how you. I mean, I do not want to nation build. I do not want to nation build. I don't want boots on the ground. To be honest with you, boots on the ground. If I hear boots on the ground, then I'm like, I don't like that. But if we could do this whole thing from the air and then pass it off, like, guys, do something with this. That'd be great.
We want all the benefits of nation building, supposed benefits, with none of the risk, is what you're aiming for.
Yeah.
None of the commitment.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Pay off none of the commitment. Absolutely.
The good thing, folks, is that foreign policy prescription has never backfired or provided any blowback whatsoever.
Well, I didn't say I was smart.
Anyway, thanks for listening to episode 29 of Notionally Accurate. Thank you to some guy named Jason for joining me on this one. I'm your host, Captain Kirk. More to come on future episodes. Find this podcast on SoundCloud, Rumble, and YouTube. Follow the podcast on Twitter/X at NotionallyACC. That's at NotionallyACC. Email me at notionallyaccurate@protonmail.com. That's notionallyaccurate@protonmail.com. Take care, and remember, even if you can't be factually correct, you can always be notionally accurate.